Raise your hand if you are ready for your horse to long line like this, panic and frustration free. Welcome back to Positive Connection Equine Training, where we focus on science based and fear free horse training. Before I start my long line sessions, I make sure we have our checklist together. So, to me, I want to make sure my horse can A, walk and halt vocally and lead well. We can always add in trots, canters, and a lot of other fun stuff once we get those basics down. B, stand at a stationary target and clearly understand what a sent target is. And then C, feel comfortable and confident in the lunging surcingle. Because things will go wrong around horses, we focus on helping prepare them to remain calm and unbothered rather than react in fear. So, this includes allowing them to habituate to the surcingle, getting used to knowing what to do if they say accidentally step on the rope, and then getting them comfortable and unfazed with the sounds and sights of those ropes dragging behind them. With all of these, we want to start small and gradual and slowly increase that difficulty as they get more confident. We're not just, starting off and dropping them into the deep end with this and wondering why they're panicking, right? We want to make that slow and steady. Once the horse is good with both ropes dragging behind them, we move into using one long line and focusing on forward movement. And this is just to get them used to that feel of now that one long line by their side. There's a few good ways to do this. One is to initiate the send to target. Two is waiting until the horse moves on their own and then marking and rewarding for that behavior. Three is going to be having a second handler help walk by their head and then slowly add space as they get used to it. We do want to try to refrain from kissing or clucking over and over, especially if they're not listening that first time. This takes away the meaning of the cue, and so instead we wait until the behavior is more reliable, and then we can add that vocal cue back in. Our goal is to ask once, not constantly. Once they're pretty good and they have the idea of moving forward with me behind them, I use a long line in full to start the idea of steering. Again, there's several options to get to this. First is going to be send a target slightly left or right, and then add in that turning cue as they start to turn, very lightly, of course. Two is to just allow the horse to walk around and then add in those turning cues as they start to just naturally move left or right. Three is going to be have that handler by their shoulder to walk with you as you cue. And so they're really kind of starting with understanding leading and translating that in. Four is to use a tunnel or a chute to help keep the horse straight with a curve at the end. You can also use a round pen or a reverse round pen for them to follow along with on this one. And then five, you can even have a hand target and start with them at the halt to work on turning. But we may want to combine that tactic with one of the four above just for the best results. The biggest issue I see with people just hopping in and immediately asking for turns on their own is the confusion on the horse that ends in a lot of overturning and overcorrections. So that might mean you ask to make a slightly left turn and they make a 90 to 180-degree turn. All of a sudden, they're kind of facing you and they're all turned up around their lunge lines, which can be really unfair if we're asking them to turn and then correcting them for turning too much. It's just not super clear for them and it's adding a lot of unnecessary pressure. We always want our goal to be to train as stress free and as fear free as possible. So I advise against just jumping into the deep end, even if your horse understands that flexion at the halt already. Your support for the channel is incredibly helpful through liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.